What's up everyone and welcome to the Draft Dynasty channel. Today we have a defenseman, Kaiden Guhle. He was the most favorite one in the other video. In the comments section, a lot of people voted and it was close, but he was the favorite one. And again today, at the end of the video, I'm gonna give you 3 options so you'll be able to choose for the next scouting report who you would like to see. Let's get back to our friend Kaiden Guhle, and I haven't done too many scouting report on defensemen this year, and it's simple. There's just not a lot of good one. It's a pretty bad year for defensemen compared to other year, but he's a good one, a big one, 6'3", 187 pounds, and he looked fairly thin when you look at him, so I think he's gonna be able to be easily above 200 pounds, so he's gonna be a big guy. Now let's take a look at his stats, and last year he only had 17 points, but he was playing on one of the best teams in the whole CHL. So it's to be expected that his stat wouldn't be that amazing. But this year he was the main guy, 40 points. He also scored 11 goals, which is I think it's the most goal for a draft eligible defenseman in the WHL. So that's good to know. Now if we use the tool on Elite Prospect for a premium member, we want to see how he's ranking versus other player in their draft year. So I put 20 game minimum and the past 20 years. And I already ranked them by point per game. Of course, it's going to be pretty low because he's more of a defensive defenseman. So he is 55. And around him, there's still a decent amount of good players. So you have Jared Spurgeon here, Lassie Thompson from last year, Demon Severson, Mike Green, Josh Morrissey, Ryan Murray, Henry Yuki Ryu, and the list goes on. But overall, the WHL is pretty well known for having produced a lot of good NHL defensemen. Alright, so let's start with the footage, and as per usual, I'm gonna start with the thing I like the most about the player, and for now I'm gonna show you some of his physicality, the hit that he's doing. He's one of the most physical player in the draft, but this is not actually the number one thing I like about him, and with him it's the intangible. I'm gonna have to explain myself. I think it's the first time that I picked this category, and with the intangible, here is what I have in mind. So it's a lot of things. We have the attitude, the character of the player, the leadership. Is he a good team player? Does he have good body language? Is he a positive player? Does he have the winning mentality? Is he consistent? Does he show up in big game? And with him, I just think that he checks most of the boxes. And of course, it's just me taking my best guess because I don't know the player. It's just me by looking the way he plays. I get the feeling that he's really a great player in terms of attitude and character. At first, when I saw him play, I was not the biggest fan of him because I thought he was limited offensively. Maybe he's not the most natural gifted talent, but he's kind of a player that is going to outwork other people. This is the feeling I have with him because I've already seen him improve a lot offensively, and his game has grown a lot the past year. And this is such an important part about evaluating a player. If you take just for example Sidney Crosby, the guy's a workhorse. He's obsessed about getting better, perfect attitude, and this might be the most important thing about the player evaluation because you can easily make a mistake if, let's say, the guy doesn't have a good attitude or a good mindset. And that's why they're doing psychological tests now for almost all the player, because they want to pinpoint those guys that really have the different mindset to reach them to a higher level. All in all, I just think he's going to be a low maintenance player. You know what you're going to get from him. He's going to be easy to coach, and he's going to be a good teammate in the locker room. Now let's transition to a different category. Some of you may already know that, but his brother Brendan Guhle is already playing in the NHL. He's 22 years old, and like Kaiden, they both are very good skaters. So for Kaiden Guhle in particular, he has a really long stride. Of course, he's 6'3", but he's also very smooth. He has a nice agility, and it's pretty hard to find a big guy, tall guy with that level of edges, agility, smoothness. Someone, when you look him skate, it look easy. So I think it's a guy that's going to be able to eat a lot of minutes eventually at the pro level. I also think he's got a great cardio to go with his skating. So he's a player that's playing physical, so it's more demanding, and he's also playing in all situations, 5-on-5, penalty killing, power play. He played a lot of minutes, and he was able to maintain his game, stay consistent, and not do too many mistakes. And another thing to keep in mind with Prince Albert, they gave the least amount of shot per game in the whole CHL, so only 24 shot per game, and also at even strength they are only giving 1.5 goal per game, so this is also the lowest amount in all the CHL. So this is a team that was probably the best team defensively in all the CHL, and he was the main defenseman on this team, so I think it's not a coincidence. He's someone that's legit defensively. And one last thing I want to add with the Prince Albert Raiders, it was a team playing at a very slow pace, so not an high event team. They're very structured defensively, so maybe I'm thinking Kaiden Guhle could have produced a bit more with a team that was more run and gun type of play style. Now let's get back to Mr. Kaiden Guhle, and I want to address a subject that is pretty important, and I know a lot of people on Twitter already said that they don't really understand the hype around Kaiden Guhle, and I'm gonna try my best to explain why he's such a valuable prospect. First, defensemen have always been pretty valuable in terms of asset, and if let's say you're a team and you want a tall guy, 6'2", 6'3", that can play physical, that can skate, and that can play defense, well, you're gonna be very limited, especially this year. So it's kind of the same principle as in finance, supply and demand. The harder they are to find, the more you're gonna have to overpay to get them. Especially for this year, there's probably only Jake Sanderson and Kaiden Guhle that fit that mold. You have other prospects that are close, but I don't think they have the same level of potential and upside, or they are not as good defensively. And getting back to Jake Sanderson, I think he plays a really similar game than Kaiden Guhle, so they're both similar. So the team that like Jake Sanderson are also going to be high on Kaiden Guhle, I'm pretty sure, because they're similar. I would say Sanderson has a bit more upside and more natural talent, and the ceiling and maybe is a bit higher than Guhle, but they're pretty close. Let's transition to his defensive ability, because I think it's gonna be his bread and butter. Him and Jake Sanderson, if I was a betting man, I would say in 2 or 3 years they're gonna be the best defensive defenseman of this draft by a pretty big margin. The thing I like the most about him defensively, well, I already talked about it, is skating ability plus his physicality. This makes him a really good player on one-on-one situations, so he's a hard player to pass on one-on-one because he plays the body really well. He also has a long reach, so whenever he's behind or the guy is close to beating him, he will often poke check him with his long reach. So this is the number one thing with him. And I would say the other major aspect is in his zone, he's very good at getting back the possession of the puck. If let's say the other team has the puck, he's good at winning his battle one-on-one on the board. He's also good at intercepting the play or just poke checking the puck. All in all, just getting back the puck.
Back-to-back games. And the Raiders have a 1-0 lead. Here come the Wheat Kings, a burst of speed. Right wing side, Burzan. He knocked off the puck by Protas, but it just rolls away on him. Corson Hoplow starts ahead, stripped of the puck by Guhle at the red line. And
let's change it up a little bit, and we're gonna move to the offense. I haven't talked much about the offensive side for him yet, but we're going to start with his shot, because I think this is where the main part of his offensive production is going to come from. He has a pretty good shot. What I like about his shot, first of all, it's his release. He has a pretty short wind-up. He's not a guy that's gonna crank it to the roof whenever he shoots. So both for his slap shot and his wrist shot, the release is pretty quick. Second of all, he has a lot of power. I was surprised with his one-timer. He has quite a bit of power behind that, and I think it's only gonna get better because he has some room to grow physically. This guy is gonna get stronger for sure, so he's gonna have even more power to his one-timer. And the last thing is, I was impressed with how often he was able to put shot on net. So he's not a sniper per se, but I thought he was good at finding shooting lane, and he's able to get sometimes low shot that give rebound, so he's gonna get assist this way.
He drops it off. Kaiden Guhle, right point shot, rebound, scores! Tyson LaVenture. The big Raider captain takes out the big Hitman captain. And Prince Albert gains the offensive zone. Here's Kaiden Guhle. Right circle, shot off the pads. Up high, it's Hayes, loads and fires, scores!
And Vitalik, blue line pass. Guhle, left point. Long wrist shot, comes to the side, they score!
One of the reasons why he's so good at getting pucks on net, I think we're going to circle back to the skating. Earlier in the video, I said his agility and mobility was really nice. And this is why I think he's able to navigate the blue line. I thought he was one of the best defensemen in the draft at just walking on the blue line, backpedaling. Him and Drysdale are really good at it. They're able with their feet to create open lane, and this opened up the play for them.
The shot through, rebound wise. And he'll go near point for Guhle. Walks the point, gets a shot through and a save from the slot. Can't get a shot away. Back to line Guhle. He's got room. He'll wind and drive and a save.
To the blue line, Guhle's got it again. Midpoint now right side to Hayes. Back to the midpoint. Guhle takes a shot through traffic and they score.
To it as Usov cuts him off. A Raider player down behind the net. That's Herman. Laboring to get up. Hayes across the line finds Guhle. Herman working his way to the bench. Guhle shoots. He scores. Kaiden Guhle picks a corner. Short. Raiders get it right back. Kosier near side for Kaiden Guhle. Back up top for Kosier. Left side Herman. Back to Kosier. He'll go to Guhle near side. One-timer scores. Kaiden Guhle. Another power.
Okay, so I saved this clip for last. Absolutely amazing goal. I did not think he had this type of offense in him, and when I saw that goal, I was like, whoa, okay. This is not the I don't think it's a type of goal that he would have been able to do earlier in the year. I think he just improved slowly during the year, his stick handling, because honestly, I think it was one of the weakest part of his game. His puck handling was below average, at least in the viewing I had last year and earlier in the year. And this is why maybe I didn't think he had that much upside in him. Also, if you notice, most of the shots he was taking were from pretty far away. So this is sometimes it's a sign that the guy doesn't have good enough stick handling, because with having good stick handling, this gives you the ability to deke the first guy and attack the middle of the ice. Sometimes you're gonna see players that are lacking a little bit of puck skills and they're not able to get in high danger area consistently. On that clip, this was one of the rare times where he was able to beat the guy one-on-one with his stick handling. And an interesting thing, if you look back at the past 2 drafts, I think the best 2 stick handler at defense were pretty obvious. It was Jeremy Poirier this year and last year Bowen Byron, and those 2 are also the 2 best goal scorer from defense. So it's not a coincidence. Those guys are good enough. They're able to beat the first guy and get in high danger area. There's no secret. The closer you're gonna get your shot, the most chance you're gonna have to score. I really think if Kaiden Guhle is able to improve his stick handling a little bit, he's gonna be a point per game defenseman next year in the WHL. I do think he's gonna need at least 1 more year before he jumps to the NHL, just to polish his game overall offensively. Let's transition to the last category of the video, and this for me is the thing that he's gonna need to improve the most, and it's his playmaking ability. So his first pass is not that bad. I would say though that he's a bit inconsistent, so sometimes he's gonna give you a good first pass, other time he is simply gonna quit on the play and dump the puck on the board, give the puck to the other team, and this is something I would like to see him improve. Maybe keep the puck, keep the play alive when there's no passing lane. Maybe the stick handling, the improved stick handling might help him with that, because he has the skating ability to get away with the puck and extend the play when there's no option. And whenever he's on the offensive side and the other team is set defensively, he struggles a little bit finding passing lane. So he's not a high volume guy in terms of making high level pass. He's not able to complete a lot of passes. I just realized I forgot to do my NHL player comparison, and I know a lot of people like to have that. So for him, I'm gonna go with Jacob Slavin and a little bit of Josh Morrissey. So I think of overall impact, what he's gonna be in the NHL, it's gonna be similar to them, maybe a tick below Slavin. I don't know. If everything goes well, it's possible that he reached that level, but overall, just a guy that can do everything on the ice, power play, penalty killing, plays a lot of minutes as well. This is gonna be it for this one. This is all I got. For the next episode, we're gonna do like last time. I'm gonna give you 3 choices. So first one, it's gonna be the Battle of Finland. You've got Roni Hirvonen, Topi Niemela, or the Hidden Gem. And if you pick the Hidden Gem, simply go in the comment on YouTube and write down Hidden Gem. No need to put a random name. I already have a player in mind, and I think you're gonna like him. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy that stuff, and see you on the next one.